Oh boy, we have a powerful podcast for you guys today. This is really an amazing one, especially if you're in a position where you're struggling for money, if you feel as though you desire more money to come into your life, if you're seeing a lack or a scarcity mindset of money. In this video, I am going to show you that you are actually looking in the wrong place.
Traveling to consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another episode of Catch Up with Clayton, another YouTube video. We're going to start posting these things on YouTube so you can listen and watch this on your favorite streaming platform. But in today's Catch Up with Clayton episode, this is actually really going to be an amazing one. Today we are talking about the most resonant, the most aligned way that you can make money, the way that it can come in, the way that it can flow, the way that it can help you in so many different ways that maybe you didn't even know existed. Because even myself, I didn't really know it all. And if we go into a little bit of my background and maybe your background as well, because you're listening or watching this, a lot of it, the programming, a lot of the angst, a lot of the pushback, if you will, from diving in and wanting to make money comes from this deep belief. Not all of it, but some of it comes from this deep belief of money is greed. And if you have money, you're greed, you're a tyrant, you're unserving to the world. But in actuality, it proves it's almost the exact opposite. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, there certainly are people who have a bunch of money and only want to acquire money for the sake of acquiring more money. And their life is certainly not going to become enlightened or fulfilled in those manners. And so I definitely want to use this time in this podcast space to help you see this deeper alignment with money. So let me start off actually with a story that happened to me last Friday. So last Friday, I was going to an eye exam, one that I have been long overdue, and I realized that I needed to get my eyes checked. I wasn't really, I'm not sure if you were ready for much more of a crazier intro than that, but I just wasn't ready for it. Um, and I'm losing my train of thought, but I get to the eye exam, I park my car, and I park it in between two cars. And as I'm getting out, the lady on my car, the car to my left, so driver's side door, is just getting back with her grocery cart. And I kind of smile at her. She kind of smiles back. And her cart, she has it stopped behind her car, and her cart starts kind of trickling in between both of our cars, and it's actually about to hit my car, and I have to like reach out and kind of stop it. And my first impulse was kind of like a whoa, like this is kind of rude, like what's going on here. But I very quickly caught myself, and that is a very key point that I highly encourage you guys to look at, is catching yourself before you find these lower vibrational negative pushback frequencies that you start coming into. Realize when they're approaching, right? Because I know a bunch of people, maybe even yourself included, I was almost this person. Whenever that cart was about to hit my car, I very quickly was like, about to go down that mental loop of kind of like, screw this person, they're a terrible person, how could they not know that my car is important to me, yada yada yada. And so I caught myself before going down that mental little conundrum there, which is powerful, very powerful. And I reverted that thinking, that structure of belief into, oh, she might need help. She was an elderly woman, elderly, whatever. She might have needed help. And so I was like, okay, this is another perfect example of me being able to help people. And this is something I've been doing a lot recently within the last couple of months of, okay, I just need to help. I just need to keep helping, just help in any little way I can. And so I saw this as God, a source, whatever you want to call it. And I know that's another point that people have brought up on the YouTube comments about God and source. And we'll get into that at a later date. We can talk about it in the comments if you're interested. So drop a comment below and I can tell you my piece on that. But God, source, whatever, I was like, okay, this was them, this was he, this was it, this was that being, that entity, that source. I guess entity is the wrong word, but that source of energy bringing into my life another situation where I could help somebody. And I realized to myself, all right, Clayton, let's help this lady. So I helped her unload her cart. I got some of her plants, I put them in the front seat. I helped hand her some of the groceries that she had taken out. And she kind of stood there for a second once it was all unloaded. And I was like, oh, she kind of offered me the cart, thinking that I was going to the grocery store. And I was like, I kind of hesitated and I was like, oh, I'm actually going to the eye exam. But really quickly, as I kind of froze there, I noticed that the eye exam was actually right beside the grocery store and evidently right beside the cart return. So I thought to myself, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, never mind. I'll take it. It's on my way. I got you. Yeah, you're good. And she's like, oh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're good. And so I grab her cart. I start walking it back. And as I start approaching the cart return area, I notice that on the handle of the cart, there's this little mechanism, which I haven't seen before. And maybe you guys have. It's probably only at certain grocery stores. There's this little mechanism on the handle where if you plug in a quarter, that disconnects it from the other carts. So in order to pull the carts out, you need to put a quarter in. It disconnects the little cord that's pulling all of the carts together. So then whenever you return the cart, you push the cart in. You know how all the carts, like grocery carts, they kind of all squish together. Would you push the cart in and then plug in the cord from the other cart into your cart and it returns the quarter. So as I'm approaching the cart return, take a shot every time you hear me say cart. As I'm approaching the cart return, I notice this other family starting to walk towards the carts. And my intuition tells me, okay, they need to get a cart. They're about to go into the store, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just kind of left the cart there. And the mother kind of came up with a quarter in hand and said, oh, here you go. And just handed me the quarter. And I was like, "Oh, no, like, I was just helping this lady over here to return her cart, so, like, you're good, like, keep the quarter, I don't really need it." And she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll be sure to then pay it forward. I'll make sure to go and do something nice for someone else." And in this moment, it almost unlocked this deep realization within me of thinking to myself, "Wow, you can just get paid for helping people, for being nice." And I guess it's not that crazy of a thought, right? Because if you just take it back a step, the reason people give people money for the most basic reason at all is goods and services or products or goods and services. That's literally all that money boils down to. It's super simple. It's that simple. And I think there's a lot of times we get very in our heads about money. We get in our heads about how we can make money. We get in our heads about how we can provide things to the world. And what this told me or showed me is that just by helping someone return their cart, I'm putting my energetic imprint into the field, the environment around me of, hey, I'm helping people. So therefore, let's find a way to kind of help me. Like whenever I need help, bring it to me. And I think a lot of times, and especially if you're listening to this or you're watching this video, money is something that you may need help with. And so the core, the fundamental piece of this is to go and help somebody else who might be in a lesser advantage situation than you are. And the point is that money will find its way back to you. Now you might be sitting there, you might have thought like, "Oh, Clayton, it's just a quarter." Like you're really making an entire video, an entire podcast about just a quarter. Well, I'm here to say that it's not just a quarter. It's not. It's the reciprocation of doing something nice that in return brings you forth that thing that you desire. Now, I'm not here saying that me returning that cart was worth a quarter. Honestly, if we had to put a monetary value on it, I think that entire transaction likely resulted in far more value than I think a quarter just to me. But the reason that it's so powerful, the reason that I'm making a video about it, the reason I'm telling you guys about it is because I have never seen it happen so quickly before in my life. And so what it got me thinking about, what it got me jiving about, what it got me thinking is like, I need to change my perspective from, or it can be helpful, and this is kind of the take home tip for you guys, is that it can be helpful to shift your perspective from God, give me more money to God, give me more situations that I am able to help other people. Give me more situations where I am able to be of service to other people. Give me more situations where I can be a shining light for others. And the ripple effect is going to be more imaginable, more powerful than just this monetary thing. And even if we're looking at it at a more meta level, right? Maybe you came across this video and you're curious about what I have to say on it. Maybe you're doing perfectly fine financially. This is not only going to be in the form of money. This will be in the form of help in various ways that our human brains can't even comprehend. The way that the universal structure works behind the scenes is that it's going to give us what we need in a certain moment, right? So you're putting in all this effort to help people, you're helping people, you're helping people, and you're not seeing money come in. Well, the fact of the matter is maybe you don't need money. Maybe your situation, monetarily speaking, is exactly where it needs to be, but something else might flick. Maybe there's going to be a relationship that comes into your life, maybe a significant other, maybe a family member, maybe a friend. Maybe you're helping this one person is going to cultivate a different thing that you need. Maybe you need more loving. Maybe you need more, I don't know, if you're running a podcast, maybe you need more guests. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but this energy of helping other people is going to transform and come into your life. It's going to manifest in many other ways other than money. So in a sense, right, this comes back to the perspective that I want to give you. So here's like the take home actionable thing that I want to challenge you to do for the next month, the next 30 days. Consider, don't consider, you're not going to consider it. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. All right. You're going to do this for the next 30 days. You're going to journal, you're going to meditate, whatever it is that you do with the intention of God, source, whatever it is that you pray to, call out to that thing, that being. God's honestly the most powerful one, but if you don't believe me, that's your whole journey to figure out. But say, God, give me more people to help. Give me more ways to be of service. Give me more responsibility of spreading my internal light. And I'm telling you, you do this for 30 simple days, all of these little things, people, events, little insects. I've helped so many insects just get outside the house and do that cautiously. I don't know where you're living when you're hearing this, but do it a little bit cautiously because I know they get a little dangerous in some areas, but do it with the pure intention of helping the insect, the person, the thing. And here's what's funny too is like you can even do it with the intention of like I am helping you so that the universal source can help me in the future. It's really kind of weird in that regards. And just do that. And I want you to do that. Actually do that. This is what you're going to do. Do that for 30 days and then come back and comment what you experienced after the 30 days. Maybe keep your journal and you can keep us posted. Like day 1, this happened. Day 2, this happened. And I'll be really fascinated to see how that plays out in the future. But that's really the core concept of this. And even if I was going to try to take it to a little bit more of an even metier level than that meta level, but I really think that that's a good place to wrap it up. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to focus on that, help someone, help people, and let me know how it ends up in the comments below. As always, make sure you like and subscribe on wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on the podcast platforms, whether it's on YouTube. And with all of that being said, conscious monkeys, I will see you all in the sixth dimension.